Well, John, imagine being a star football player in college, promising career coming up in the NFL. Then life changes. A world war breaks out and millions of young men are called to serve. Everything is about to change for Anaconda's Bill Lazatich. He's a Marine stationed thousands of miles away in the Pacific Theater. While there, he'll face the brutality of war and will play in the most unlikely football game of his own, the Mosquito Bowl.
What people always say about you is that you always made players around you better. I mean, there's great shooters and there's great scorers. You did both. You could score the basketball, but you made a lot of average players on that hardened team look great. And was that, when you look at the old video of you and what you did, was it always your intent to facilitate and give others the chance to score?
Oh, are we having any fun out here? Look at all the folks that have come by to join us on our special day. Hang on, Seahawk fans, just a minute. We're going to start with Justin Hart. He's the general manager of Pizza Hut over here just down the road a bit. And Justin, first-year sponsor. We love to have new people on board.
In the 40-plus years I've been in Montana doing this thing, to me, every little kid that grows up playing football in Montana wants to be a quarterback for either the Grizz or the Bobcats. You're that guy. And so you grow up, you win a state championship at West High, that's great. Then you go to Montana, proceed to win a national championship with Montana, and you and Dave Dickinson are the only two quarterbacks to ever win national championships for the Grizz. And guess what? You're both from Montana. And
That's
I'm sure
true.
Dave felt the same way you did. How special was that to be a Montana kid fulfilling a dream like that?
Bill Lazatich died November the 18th, 2009. He was 93 years old. The United States is a nation of immigrants bound together by the prospect of freedom. It brought his parents here from Serbia. Bill fought for his country and survived, returned home to teach and coach, influencing hundreds of young athletes along the way. Bill Lazatich, someone to remember and honor this Veterans Day. Last year, the Rocky Mountain College football team finished the season with a 6-4 record. Not bad. Despite that, the Bears picked no better than 5th in the Frontier Conference preseason poll. That's despite a defense that returns 8 starters, gave up less than 18 points a game, and less than 200 yards in total offense. 19-year-old Weston Timberman, and Weston from Columbus, Montana, folks. Keep an eye on this guy. You're going to hear a lot about him. Why? Well, he just won the National Collegiate World Bareback Championship at Clarendon Junior College down in Texas in June. And Weston, you're having a little fun this summer.
Tonight is the season opener for Montana State as they welcome in the Trailblazers from Utah Tech. Hi again, everyone. Chris Byers along with the former Bobcat Mike Callahan, and it is a sea of gold in Bobcat Stadium, better known as the Gold Rush game. And why not? After the season Montana State had a year ago, you know expectation is high, and the fans have come out to watch tonight on a beautiful late summer evening here in the Gallatin Valley. Hey, very good evening from the Brooke Breeden Fieldhouse on the campus of Montana State University. Folks, it's time for college basketball on SWX. Tonight, Green Bay Phoenix rolls into Bozeman to take on Montana State. Hi again, everyone. Chris Byers along with Jeff Riggs, the former Cat. And Jeff, we're going to spend some time tonight just introducing new players to our Montana State basketball fans. There's a whole lot of them. And Chambers keeps it. He's got room, picks up a great block, and now at the 5, and touchdown, Montana State. Wow, what a run by Sean Chambers, and he picked up a beautiful block by Derek Snell to spring him into the end zone.
In a world where college football players change teams in the blink of an eye, over in Missoula, wide receiver and special teams phenom Junior Bergen has decided to stay put with the Grizz. The Billings senior grad took to Instagram this morning, simply posted, quote, "Run it back." Bergen accounted for 9 TDs this past season, 4 on special teams. He was the difference maker in the postseason. Against Furman, took the opening kickoff, returned it 99 yards for a touchdown. Later in the game, returned a punt 59 yards for a score. A week later, against North Dakota State, Junior was at it again. Fourth quarter punt return for a TD, passed for a 2-point conversion to be the Bison, and a huge reason why they made the FCS championship game. It was a big win for Montana as they score with Junior Bergen back in Missoula for his senior season.
So obviously, first question is why. Your career was always on such an uptick in Montana State from your freshman year, better every year. You get the Big Sky Conference Championship. You're playing Stanford in the NC2As, in the postseason. So now the decision to come back and your last year of eligibility to play here. Great for us, but does beg the question, why not finish there where you had so much success?
Playoff football, you're certainly no stranger to, but it's always fun in Class A because the Western teams you really don't really know a whole lot. So you get Columbia Falls, they've lost twice to Dillon and Whitefish in OT, I think, but a good team, but it's not like playing the Laurels and the Sydneys and the Glendives. They're just, it's a brand new deal, isn't it?
I'll jump right in. It's so good to see you again, and I don't even know if you could have predicted the kind of start you've had down there at Utah State. You had that early loss to Bradley in overtime, and now it's 15 straight wins, and you're rolling, man. Let's talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. It's coming up Sunday, and you, of course, have had experience in the big game with the Tennessee Titans, the famous, 1 yard short game with the game against the greatest show on turf. And I guess my first question, Bart, is I know every game in the NFL is big. It's once a week, and it's a big deal. But how is the Super Bowl different than an NFL game?
Flint Rasmussen has a gift, maybe the best gift of all. He makes us laugh. And for a few hours at a professional bull riding event, his fans forget about the everyday pressures of life and simply enjoy the man from Shoto.
This is what the people want.
Born in Havre, raised in Shoto, Flint earned all-state honors in both football and basketball in high school. But that's not all. There was another side of him that involved acting in school plays, singing in the choir, in short, being an entertainer. And that, as it turns out, is the best word to describe what he does.
My brother Will always has put it a good way, that people in the entertainment business and that want to be in front of crowds, we have this big empty spot right here. And the way we fill that and keep ourselves going is to get it from crowd.
Shh. Shh. We'll leave the female be.
Montana Western grad, Flint returned to Havre and settled in as both a math and history teacher. But that desire to entertain was always present. He flirted with rodeo while in college at the age of 19, working as a rodeo clown in Superior. His father Stan and brother Will, both rodeo announcers, worked the Northern Rodeo Association, where Flint grew up around the sport as a youngster, wide-eyed when he first experienced the Metro Park Arena.
I came to Billings when I was a kid because my dad forever announced the NRA finals in the Metro.
The good old Northern Rodeo Association.
Yeah, and it was a great rodeo, so I kind of grew up. I'll never forget, Mom and Dad kind of surprised us and took my brother Pete and I, brought us to Billings. And that was the biggest building I'd ever been in. I was just amazed.
By the age of 25, that passion to entertain proved too much. He quit teaching and in 1998 worked his first National Finals rodeo in Las Vegas. An instant hit with the fans, the kid from Shoto took the sport by storm. For 8 consecutive years, he was voted by his peers to work the NFR, earning the Coors Man in the Can Award 7 times. In short, Vegas and Flint were a perfect fit.
Great experience, through rodeo, going to rodeos that I only read about, the NFR being one of those. I didn't think I'd ever have a shot to roll my barrel out in Thomas and Mack Arena, and in 1998 I did that, scared to death.
Time to roll the dice in 2005 and another career change when he signed a deal to become the exclusive entertainer for the Professional Bull Riders Association. His decision, both professional and personal.
I can say that when I went that direction, a little different feel than like a rodeo clown. I'm integrated into the complete production of the show. Mm-hmm. It's not like a rodeo where you show up, they put on a rodeo, and you're kind of slide in and out where you can. Yeah. I'm involved in the production of the show. I get say on what comes next and what we do.
You, right here, right next to the watch him, he's gonna hold it on the head,
For the last 17 years, the PBR schedule has taken Flint from Madison Square Garden to Sacramento and just about everywhere in between, and it's taken its toll. At the age of 41, he suffered a heart attack, and now, with nagging injuries as a result of a nonstop schedule, the decision to retire comes reluctantly but necessary.
Right now, what I hope people understand, if they care or wonder, there is pain is a kind of a depressing thing. And I used to get tired after a show, now it just hurts. And so when I walk in that arena, the excitement level has gone down a little, for one, because I know it's not going to feel as good as it used to.
Flint will transition to the broadcast booth beginning this summer, and safe to say, PBR broadcast will never be the same. At the same time, neither will the PBR.
Jesse, they look pretty good, don't they?
Shyness, very afraid to express my opinion. All of those are going to hold me back.
Yeah, okay.
Chris,
So this weekend here in Billings, it's one last performance at Metro Park. He's saying goodbye not just to the PBR, but mostly to Montana. Like always, he'll give 100% and then some. When it's all said and done next month in May at the PBR Finals in Fort Worth, Texas, he'll take on another title, and it's one he's looking forward to.
But right now, I've kind of turned into, aren't you Shelby and Paige's dad? And I'll take that the rest of my life.
Chris Byers, SWX Sports. Never accuse Skyview basketball star Brianna Williams of backing down from a challenge. The state's leading scorer last year, Brianna could have stayed home, signed with the Cats or Grizz, but no. Instead, Williams will travel nearly 2,000 miles to play for one of the nation's top Division I programs, Maryland.
It's kind of just my parents and the foundation that they've instilled in me. We had multiple talks over all the years, and they were like, location is not a problem. We're going to support you in whatever you do, and we're going to try and find a way to get out there as much as we can, and don't let us be the ones holding you back.
Coming from Montana to the elite level of women's basketball certainly comes with its challenges. But then again, Brianna's been playing summer AAU basketball for years, traveling from one end of the country to the other.
It definitely has prepared me, because I've been on the road for 10 days at a time, and I still get kind of homesick, but it's starting to grow on me a little bit more, just me personally, being out there, I have to tell myself, hey, this is what it's going to be like in college, and so, I get used to it more and more. And
Louisville, TCU, Gonzaga, Utah, and countless other schools all competed for Brianna's skills, but in the end, one trip to Maryland pretty much sealed the deal.
To go to Maryland, it was just the people. I went on my visit, and I wasn't planning on committing right away. And so, just being there and being around all those people, all the recruits, the freshmen, all the players, it was a home away from home, it felt like.
Here at home, Brianna helped Skyview to its very first state championship 2 years ago. Last year, a third-place finish. It would be logical to assume her senior year with the Falcons might lead to a lack of motivation, but don't buy that for a second. Despite a college scholarship in hand, Brianna's still very much a Falcon and ready to help her team this winter.
Coach Chase, after I told him I committed, he told me I looked a lot happier.
Yeah.
And so I'm definitely feeling that. And, when I'm going and playing with all these girls, it's kind of just for them and trying to make them better and just have fun with it.
Currently, Brianna back on the road, heading to Ohio for yet another summer AAU tournament. Then it's back to the Hill for one last season with the Falcons. Chris Byers, Nonstop Local. When the Yellowstone International Air Show begins tomorrow, it brings back to Billings an event that began in 1986. Over a span of 14 years, 5 major air shows came to town, the last in 2000. But let's dial it back to that first year, 1986. Organizers of the event were hopeful. If Billings could draw 10,000 spectators to the event on both days, it would break even. What happened next surpassed even the most optimistic. Not only did the air show exceed projections, they delivered in a way no one at the time could have imagined. An estimated crowd of 21,000 turned out for day one, 20 to 25,000 on day two. The star of the show in 1986, Italy's version of the Navy's Blue Angels, Brecci Tricolori, a 9-jet precision flying team. It also marked the first time in that team's history they performed here in the States, using modified larger fuel tanks to make the long journey stateside, but well worth it for Billings spectators. There were the usual ground displays, wing walking, mini jets, and of course, no shortage of aerobatic flying. It all led to more air shows down the road in 1988, 1990, 1994, and again in 2000. Over the years, Billings has hosted the Blue Angels in '88, the Canadian Snowbirds, and of course, the Air Force Thunderbirds.
2000 marked the final air show here in Billings, but now it returns to Big Sky Country. Chris Byers, Nonstop Local.